All right, this slide is even, I think, the most important part of all of it, and that is that now we're going to really look at down in the weeds of things, what was really going on. The top on the left is showing when the homes were initially entered into the system. So when it shows the sold price, it also will show the subsidy, it'll show you the net price, but it'll also show you the original price. And we're going to go look at a couple. And on the right side, what we'll be looking at is what it was sold at for sale or at sale. And we'll look at the net price. You'll see that column. But let's take some examples that we had up earlier. And so if we look at that, we'll take a look at the Breeders' Cup since we picked that one up before. Okay, on Breeders' Cup, that home was $536,500 is what it originally listed for. Okay, it sold for $479,000. The delta between those two is $58,000 difference between what we were expecting. When I say we, meaning the owner expected $536,500 for some reason, and they put it on the market, and it went and sold for $478 if you take out the $550 subsidy they put in. That's about a third. Again, it's about a $58,000 delta between what was anticipated when it first went on the market. That's not a good thing. And so you need to be thinking about, when you ask somebody about the price and what it listed for and those kinds of things, that's not necessarily what it's going to end up selling for, and what I keep using the word delta, but the difference between what we had hoped, which is not a good word, hope, and what it really turned out to be. So I want you to be aware of that. That also goes around and bodes to, this home was on the market for 235 days. And guess why it didn't sell in 235 days? I don't know for sure, but I would bet you that a lot of it had to do with the price and the marketing for that home. That home may have had an issue, may have had a problem. I don't know exactly why, but what I'll tell you is they're not close to what they initially put it into the MLS as a listing price. So just be aware of that. I am definitely not suggesting that you give away your home. That I live here. I want these homes to be sold at the highest price possible. I want my investment, my return on my investment. Someday, if we decide to sell and move or something, I don't anticipate it. We've kind of decided that we're done moving. However, I want the homes to be at the highest level possible. And so it's not my situation telling you this, that it's going to help anybody. I want it to be the highest possible. So we want it at the highest price, in the shortest amount of time, with the least amount of stress. And I've said it a number of times, but it's a really important part of the whole picture of what we're talking about. Same thing on the other two that we had looked at, and again, some of the delta between the two. The one from Basket Ring, I guess it is, that one is a delta of $63,000. Okay. I'm smiling not because I'm happy. I'm just smiling because when you look all the way to the other side, you see that it was on the market for 398 days. Now, I'm sure there are reasons. I'm sure things happen. I'm going to tell you about a former neighbor before I really had a chance to tell people that I was a real estate agent. He had already purchased another home. They were moving to another state, and it was being built. So they said, well, we'll put ours on the market soon, but the other one's going to take 6 months or whatever to build it. The issue that happened, the thing that happened, is that they had a home that was similar as far as how long it was on the market. Not that long, but quite a bit. The other home was ready. They had to go to settlement. Now they had two homes. They were paying for insurance and HOA fees and maintenance of the house and all the things that you can think of twice, times two. And it's a dramatic emotional issue. It's also a dramatic financial issue. Their negotiating stand as it got later and later was not as good. they didn't, they were almost getting to a point, we'll almost take anything. And in the interim, they had priced it at the wrong price. Um, you know, that's hindsight. However, these kinds of things you want to be thinking about. And anyway, they're very nice people, and I'm sorry it happened to them, but I think it's not a bad thing to let people know these things happen. So we're going to go ahead and we'll hit the attached homes. And with attached homes, there were 14 of them sold in last year. And the reason I'm not going to spend a lot of time, everything is exactly the same, whether it's the attached, detached, or condo. So if you want specific detail and you want more information, and because I'm not going to spend time going through each one of these, let me know. I'll be glad to go through it with you. I'll be glad to pick out specifics for you. This is just trying to give you an idea. So there were 14 sold last year of those. A similar kind of scenario here. I don't want to keep your time too much longer, so I appreciate it. Condos, there were 15 of condos sold last year, again, in the last 365 days. And that was as of May, the end of May of this year. So again, I'm doing this quickly because I want to take you off of having to be drilled constantly about all of this. Okay, so let's take a look at trends. I had mentioned those earlier to you. There are many kinds of trends, and whether it's a market on the stock market or it's another kind of market, markets change. They go up, they go down. Things affect them. Well, in real estate, one of the things that affect selling a house is the seasonality. And so this is just one example, and this one's it's not live right now. If you are interested in this information, there are hundreds of types of views that we have, not just bar graphs and all kinds of things that we have information on that can go back 16 years. I don't think you need to do that. This one's a 2-year look at it. And the reason I use that is I want to give you an idea of seasonality. So in Northern Virginia, or in Virginia area, we have two main seasons. We have the spring and we have the fall. Spring is a little bit longer generally, and then the fall. And they're both active, and as you can see on the screen, looking down at May, June, and so on. It is interesting to see in January 2015. I can't remember if I knew we had a blizzard. I don't think it was. I thought that was this year, but maybe we had one that year too. I can't remember. However, but you can see spikes. Like in July of 2015, it spiked up to about 14 homes in that 1 month. So again, this is just a snapshot of it. However, we can move it and adjust it and look at it in different ways. Some of the reports will even come back in a verbiage form explaining why it's a buyer's turn as far as being the one that has the most amount of power in the negotiation. What we also want to talk about in seasonality is about, do we only sell or try to sell our home in those two markets, in the spring or fall? Homes are sold all year round. I've sold homes right at Christmas. I've sold homes right at New Year's. Now, that's, there aren't as many homes available, and one of the advantage, and maybe disadvantage, but advantage, is if your home happens to be on the market during one of the down seasons, maybe in the wintertime, and somebody is sent over here, maybe a company has moved them here, or the military has moved them here, or whatever it might be, but they want to be in Heritage Hunt, that's for sure. And so there's only maybe a few homes that they have a choice from. In January, they had no choice. And so typically, if you're selling a home that's in that scenario and people want to live here and have just moved in and are not going to rent for 3 months, you may actually be able to get a higher dollar amount. Now, I'm not suggesting that's what you want to do and wait till winter comes. However, homes sell all year round. If you're in Arizona, their seasons are totally different than our seasons. We have spring and fall, the main seasons. You see the uptick on the sales. So you notice in the two seasons there are upticks, and typically in the wintertime that is not quite as many sales are going on. However, again, sales of homes are all year round. The highest and most activity are spring and fall. If you want some additional information, again, I'd be glad to provide these into more of a real time where you can go in and take different views and you know, what was the seasons like for the last 5 years? Maybe that's important, and you'd be able to do that. You also, once you are able to put your mouse or depending on if you have a tablet or what it is, it'll actually pop up where the top of this particular one will show you how many actual homes were sold. I'm guessing because it was about 15 at the line on the top, so I'm assuming it's about 14 homes. But there's a lot more information once it's live. So what I want to give back to you for your time, and I appreciate you very much in taking the time, is make an offer. And the offer is, and you have no obligation, absolutely none. There's no pressure ever. I'm just not that kind of person. I will never pressure you. I won't be calling you or hassling you. No hassling. And my evaluation, it will be truly free. It will be better than getting online where it says, you know, put in your email address and we'll send you back evaluation. It's going to be more of a from the tax record and maybe from the CMA. I know this area. I live here. So when you say I live at whatever address it is, because I have to have that to be able to do some calculations, I at least know that you may be on the golf course, you may not be, you may be whatever. Okay, those kinds of things that I can put into that evaluation. If you're willing and want to invite me in, fine. If you don't, that's fine too. Just give me a verbal on what you think you have as far as adding to the home or not. Did you replace the HVAC? That's an important thing. In today's world, our systems are starting to go down. I had to replace mine last year. So we want to be thinking about that because that helps in the evaluation of the property. One of the things that I do with my clients is we talk about home warranties, and I'm not out selling home warranties, but when you're putting your home on the market, most buyers appreciate, and it does help, and usually they'll ask for it, is for a warranty. And typically they're around $450, somewhere that maybe to $500, maybe a little less, depending what you're doing. But many of those also, which is the important part, actually insure you the warranty for the time from the time that you list it until you go to settlement. Those are critical times. And the reason it is, if the HVAC goes down 2 weeks before settlement, you got a problem. You don't, if you are taking one of these the ideas of doing a warranty that also includes you into it. Typically, there's no payment for that. It's just part of the product. And also, in most of them, the actual payment of it is at settlement. So it's a good thing to think about. And again, I'm not trying to sell you warranties. It does help in selling your house to say that there's a 1-year warranty on it. And again, you're talking typically around $450, $500. You know, things can change, but that's typical right now. And if you get one that has, which usually does, includes you when you list the home for that period of time to closing, is again typically covered. And I've seen this happen. I've seen some things happen. You know, everything was fine, and then one day there was the hot water heater went out, and of course it happened a week or two before settlement. It's pretty. You know, lots of things happen, and you want to make sure that, again, reduce the stress as much as possible. So I'm offering this to you. You just let me know. You can get in touch with me very easily. And by the way, in the middle there, you see it says "Less Stress with Jeff." I picked that up because of my client, and my other clients are been saying the same thing. I'm good at it. I don't know what else to say. I am. It's something that I believe in, and you know, I've felt stress in my life, and obviously still have times to do that. We do have stress, but wherever possible, I think it's especially in reason of selling a home, it's just something that needs to be controlled. So there's my my moniker. If you lived in London, you would say moniker is "Less Stress with Jeff." There's my phone number. That is my cell. You're welcome to call it almost any time of day and night. almost. It is often though. If you drive by, you'll probably see. I have my office up on the loft. You may see my lights on. You can you can give me a call if you want to. Also, so that's my cell number, and there's my email address. You're also again on my cell phone. Text me. I use that a lot. Um, a couple things I didn't mention to you about that real quickly is that we were talking about buying homes, selling homes. Also, an area I have clients who invest in real estate and doing really well, and also in relocation. I'm going to say the Washington Redskins out loud, and for those who are Dallas fans, just hold your ears. But I also, during the time as being a realtor, have worked with the Washington Redskins in helping players, coaches, and staff in relocation. It was a very interesting thing. I did it for about 7 years. It was the only part of my business. It wasn't my business. It's just part of what I do and did. I had partners to help in that because it can get pretty busy when the new players are coming in. But the point of telling you that is that I've had other scenarios of doing relocation. I actually do it fairly regularly. People come in from, I just had some people in from Kentucky, and they get a culture shock, and not just culture, dollar shock, I should say, of what's going on here. I can also help you if you're moving and you need some help finding agents really anywhere in the world. And also for just connections of people in different parts of obviously the U.S. or North America. But again, because of my experience with my business, well, first of all, RE/MAX has agents in almost every country in the world. There are almost over 100,000 agents, and I have contact and information about all of them. But more importantly is, again, trying to reduce the stress of who do I talk to, what's going on, any suggestions of the particular area. And so please don't hesitate to give me a call. I'll be glad to try to help. And if you know someone who's relocating, again, just let me know and I'll try to give them a hand on what they're looking for, a handle on it. So I want to thank you very, very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Please don't hesitate to contact me. I'll be out walking Chase. You'll see me at least twice a day, early in the morning and usually a little bit after dinner, well after dinner. Come over, and he's very friendly, scratch his back, he'll love you forever. And maybe we have a chance to chat and just introduce ourselves. I love it here. We're really, really happy here, and I've met great people in the 6 years we've been here, and I hope to have an opportunity to meet you, and I'm looking forward to it. So again, thank you. There will be other webinars coming up. I'll keep you informed about them and let you know the way I'm letting you know here. So again, thank you. Have a great evening or day or whatever time it is for you right now, and please, anytime I can help. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.